Learn the basics.
It's like step 0.1.
Yeah, step 0.1, you know.
It's not very complicated. It's just if you're a newbie, you're not gonna really understand it. More to learn.
Here with Gab Effects, how do you think about this
I don't
school
know
so
why I'm
far?
here. Is the mic even open?
It is, I think. Is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Working. Yeah, it's working.
How is it so far?
It's cool. I love school.
Squad.
Shanghai squad.
Okay, so step 1 of the GAPE training program is done. So
Probably
learn
step
the
one.
basics.
It's like step 0.1.
Yeah, step 0.1, you know. Learn a bit of, the candle, the body, and the wick. Learn about support and resistance, SBR, RBS. Learn about QM, about OHLC, Just getting started.
Just getting started.
Excited for where this journey will go. Best 20K ever spent, man.
Exactly.
Yes,
a lot
sir.
more to learn.
Santai. Oh,
Damn.
yes, sir. So, Gabe, of all the strategies you've taught me and just the advice you've given me, is it applicable for both like short-term trading and swing trading, or what do you think?
Honestly, it's more applicable towards swing trading.
I
because,
see.
Okay, swing trading is not depending on whether you're a swing trader or you are a day trader.
Yeah.
Because most people have that misconception that you're either a day trader or you're either a swing trader. But no, it depends on the setup you're taking. For
Yeah.
example, soon I'll be teaching about confirmations. Let's say you have the higher time frame zones, SNR, and then you pair with higher time frame confirmations, you pair it with storyline, you have all three things.
Yeah.
Then you take that trade, you are a swing trader. Because
see.
that is the setup that you can swing. But for example, you only have a lower time frame zone, one confirmation, that becomes a day trade.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to go far, it's going to go like what, 50 pips, 100 pips,
Yeah.
or maybe 30 pips, like those. Sifu, 30 pips, Sifu, sell.
Seafood. Santai. Understood.
Is it working? Assalamualaikum.
Okay, it's working. Alright.
So it depends on the setup. If your setup is, let's say, low risk,
Yeah.
you know the roadblock. Okay, for example, I'm going to teach you about breakout and roadblock later. The roadblock is basically, here is where you buy. The roadblock is a sell zone, because if price goes to roadblock, it may go down. So that's where you TP or you wait for a breakout, right?
Yeah.
So
When you say wait for a breakout, you mean you put TP first and then you wait for a breakout confirmation to enter another.
no, you
Oh,
just,
you just wait.
I don't use TP or SL.
Okay.
No, it's not that I don't use TP or SL. I have a mental note
Yeah.
that I have my SL here, I have my TP there.
Yeah.
But it depends on price action whether I want to TP or whether I want to continue holding. Because let's say, if price goes to here, you have the choice. You can either TP now or you can wait for a breakout. If it breaks out, it's going to continue flying because the buyers has already taken
Yeah.
the fortress of the sellers. So it's going to continue flying.
Yeah.
So if you TP here,
Yeah, that you just missed out on.
exactly, you just
Yeah.
missed out on the rocket. For
Yeah.
example, the trade I took right, actually not here, I took it right here, right? I could have TP'd when it went down from here. But I didn't. Why? Because I knew it's going to continue flying. The storyline already started to be bullish from here, and now it's here. It's all the way up to here. Yeah.
What the fuck? What?
Exactly, it's
That's
like 1,000
crazy.
pips.
Holy shit.
I took a trade.
Bro, it's like 2,000. If it's here, 2,000 pips.
Correct.
Yeah.
I took a trade
2,200
here also
pips.
because of a H4 zone, and then the trade I took last week and the trade I took yesterday here.
Oh my gosh, bro, that's crazy.
So that is swing trading.
So market is stopped now. 'cause
Market is on a break.
Yeah, on a
Yeah.
break. So you can't place any trades on the break.
No.
Like you can't even place like a
You can
trade that's
you
gonna
can trade
happen on
Bitcoin,
Monday.
But now it's just
I see.
santai je weekend.
Yeah,
Weekend
santai
we focus
weekend.
on back testing.
So back testing, do you have any apps to do back tests?
Yeah,
or like
you
you
can
just
use-
replay?
You can use Go Charting.
Okay.
Go Charting is, I was broke. I used to use Go Charting because it was free. You can
Yeah.
back test the entire market. Now I'm not sure whether you can use it
Okay.
because now I use a different app.
So you pay for it. How much do you pay?
30 ringgit.
Oh what?
Cheap.
That's cheap
Everything
as
is
fuck.
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's cheap as fuck. Okay, what should we move on to next?
We should move on to multi-time frames.
I think multi-time frame is quite
Very complicated.
or very complicated.
It's not very complicated. It's just if you're a newbie, you're not gonna really understand it.
Okay.
All right. So now you understand types of signals. Okay. What do you understand about time frames currently?
Obviously, longer time frames are more valid.
The
And-
the higher the time frame,
Yeah,
the stronger
exactly.
the confirmation, the
Yes.
stronger the zone. Correct. So let me just revise again.
Yeah.
We have multiple time frames. First, we have monthly. That is going to be the strongest time frame. Monthly time frame. Then we go to weekly, daily, and down to the H4. So this is going to be the most important time frame you have to look at. These
Yeah.
are the higher time frames. Monthly, weekly, daily, H4. It goes in that order. So this is the granddaddy. This is
Yeah.
the grandmommy. Daddy.
Yeah.
This is the mommy. Right.
Okay.
So it goes in that order. Now we understand that the lower time frame starts from H1 and onwards. Okay, H1, M30, and
Yeah.
onwards. So we understand that. So these 4 time frames are going to be very important in what? For identifying the strong zones storyline.
Yeah.
And one storyline, that's going to be, I'll be teaching you that after I teach you everything,
Yeah.
because that is the most complicated part.
Yeah.
Right? So these 4 time frames, we're going to have, first you must understand the basics first. Monthly storyline, weekly storyline, daily storyline. Okay, so now we understand that. This is the order we should be looking at. Okay, so now we understand order. Now, how do you use multi-time frames? First, I'm going to teach you how to make your zone more precise with multi-time frame. This is going to be a continuation of our types of SNR.
Yeah.
Right? First, you must understand how to identify SNR. For example, right here, this is the trade I took. Right here, we have RBS, correct?
Yeah.
Resistance, break, becomes support. Go
Yeah.
touch it and it instantly flew to the moon.
Yeah.
So, is that T?
I see it.
Shit. Okay, so here we have RBS on the H4 time frame. Right, we're gonna start with H4. Now, how do you make this zone infinitely stronger? You go to one time frame lower.
Oh shit. Shit.
Guys,
Even the sushi is different.
Yeah. China sushi, bro. Everything's better here.
True.
Bro, you know, like delivery here is so cheap. Literally.
Delivery.
Delivery, yeah, like Meituan.
Oh, it comes
It's
in
called
like 1
Meituan.
second. Like,
No, it's fast, but it's really cheap compared to Malaysia. Okay.
H4 time frame, let's go to one time frame lower, H1. Right? How you make your zone infinitely stronger is that you pair it with a time frame lower.
Okay.
How do you do that? Very simple. You just mark out the resistance or the support on one time frame lower or one time frame higher.
Okay.
For example, right over here, we have a resistance as well. Break becomes support. So that it becomes a zone on the H1 time frame. This also becomes a zone on the H1 time frame. Resistance here. Resistance, bullish candle,
Yeah.
bearish candle, break becomes support. Now you have an entire multi-time frame zone. So for example, this is the H4 zone, this is the H1 zone.
Yeah.
Now you have confirmation that gold has already broken out of a H4, H1 zone. Gold is most probably going to fly. And what do? All you need to do is just mark out the zone, wait for confirmation here, and fly.
Ah, let the candle close. Candle close. Wait, no.
As long as the candle closes above, that is
Yeah.
a breakout. Once it's a breakout, you can wait for a pullback, and so continue flying.
Okay, so resistance, all closed above, and then now you said if it traces back, because
That's
that's
the point of entry.
point of entry. Yeah, you would have like started spamming there anyways, right?
I wouldn't start spamming there. I
Okay.
would probably spam at the H4 zone. If it goes lower, I'll spam at the H1 zone.
Okay.
Spam sounds like a weird word to say, but yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
now we understand that. You can go to you can even go down to one line time lower again, M30. M30 same thing. Multi time frame zone, H1. Look at this. It's the same place. Same
Yeah.
line. M30. Same line as the H1. That
Yeah.
is what we call a multi-time frame zone. When you have a multi-time frame zone, your zone instantly becomes more precise. It's
Yeah.
like this. You can see what they go to, touched it, instantly it flew.
Yeah.
Instantly, 1 second it flew to the moon. And this is, if you bought from here, that will be fucking 400 pips.
400 pips, yeah.
Yeah, 400 pips to the moon. 400 pips. Let's say you tekan what? 0. Let's say you tekan one lot.
Yeah.
That
oh
is
my gosh.
4,000
Yeah,
USD.
4,000 USD. That's crazy.
That's the entire trip in Shanghai done.
Yeah. So would you say okay? So obviously, does this candle closing above the resistance mean that that's confirmation that this oh my gosh.
可以吗？
Hey, shit.
谢谢. Wow.
Well, this was guess how much this was in ringgit?
What, 30 ringgit?
Yeah, 30 ringgit. That's crazy,
Damn,
bro.
that's cheap, bro.
It's cheap as fuck. Oh my god. So the fact that this candle closes above, that's like, is that basically confirmation that all these RBS is valid?
It is a confirmation, yes.
Okay.
Because how does RBS form? It forms after a breakout of
Yeah.
the resistance.
Mm.
Once a breakout of the resistance happens, it becomes a support.
Yeah.
Support here.
Yeah.
Resistance, break becomes support. What they go do, touch the support, instantly through. Now, the only thing I have to teach you is how to find an entry with confirmation.
Yeah,
3 confirmations.
exactly.
But that is after I finish teaching about multi-time frames.
Can.
Right. Let me give you more examples. Now, when you look at a H4 time frame, a H4 time frame, it is the lowest of the highest time frame. It's like the baby of the highest
Yeah.
time frame, right? So now we go to the daily time frame, weekly. Let's go to weekly.
Mm.
Now, can you guess where I took a trade? Last week, where did I take a trade?
Okay, let me see.
Weekly zone.
Okay, weekly zone. Let me see.
Correct.
Support. Okay, support here. It's obviously. Okay, let's see. You kind of have a OHLC here,
Yep.
and then obviously take into account that, but the fact that support came here, is a tracing back, and then when it touched, you probably had confirmation on a lower time frame
Yep.
that it closed, and so you know it's valid,
Yep.
and then so you just like started like entering there with the
Correct.
confirmation, and boom.
Look at this. This is the weekly buy zone, right? Bearish candle here, bullish candle here, weekly buy zone form. Right over here. Right?
Yeah.
So this is the weekly buy zone. And what they go do? Go touch the weekly, the strongest zone in existence. Go touch it. Flew to the moon. How many pips?
Holy
2,000
fuck.
pips.
2,200 pips.
2,000
That's
pips.
crazy.
So if you ask me if I'm a swing
Bro,
trader,
what
I'm
the
a fucking
fuck?
swing trader.
Bro, one lot, 22,000 USD.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
22,000 USD in one setup.
That's crazy, bro.
Now, it's not just a zone.
It's a bit lower, right? It's like
Yeah, it's a bit
like that, right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, it is not just a zone that we have to mark out. We cannot just mark out a zone, an entry from the weekly time frame zone. What can we do? We go to one time frame lower.
Yeah.
Every single time you mark out a zone on higher time frame, go to one time frame lower, find the same zone. Let's say, let's go to daily time frame now. Okay, right now on the daily time frame, what do we have?
Okay.
Okay, how about you mark for me?
Sure.
This is the weekly time frame zone. Now,
Okay. So it's now. So it started. This was where it started. So obviously, first thing I can see is here's a. I'll just put a resistance there first. Okay,
this
there.
is the line.
Actually, I'll draw. It's easier.
Oh, you draw it. Okay.
So here we have a fucking hell. So here, the resistance take into account, and then okay. And then here we have a sort of like OHLC that kind of gives us a bit of kind of like extra reassurance of our
Correct. Makes it more
one
precise.
one of our 1 week time frame. Here here we have supports, but here's just like extra confirmation, like just extra supports that didn't get broken out of. I mean, obviously because we wouldn't know anyways. It was forming,
Just
and
mark
then
the zones near the weekly time frame.
and then here we have a support breaks becomes resistance.
Yeah.
Eventually, and then that's what I see mostly. Support breaks
Resistance.
resistance RBS, OHLC, and then 2 supports
Correct.
on the daily.
These are the only zones, correct? These are the only zones that we have on the weekly, daily
Yeah.
zone, right? So, then, what do we have here? This is the weekly multi-time frame with the daily zone. That's why I say OHLC, you must be aware of it. You
Yeah.
cannot enter just based off OHLC. You have to
Yeah.
pair it with multi-time frame. So here, we have the strongest zone, weekly paired with daily, and obviously it's going to be a H4 here. We also understand that. We also understand that we have a daily buy zone here.
Yeah.
So the 2 points of entry is either we can enter from the daily buy zone, or we can wait for the weekly and daily zone. Now, we understand the zones for entries. What can we do? We can either entry here, entry here, entry here, entry here. If this doesn't work, it's going to go to here. If this doesn't work, it's going to go to here. Once again, we go to one time frame lower. We have marked out all the zones on higher time frame. It's mapped out on the lower time frame, H4. So this is the point of entry. There's a confirmation here. I'm going to explain that later. Now, on the H4 time frame, same thing. Mark out every single zone. I don't usually mark them out. I just use my head. It's a mental mapping. Okay, right here we have a same thing. Resistance, break becomes support right over here. We have multiple zones on the H4. And and what they go do.
Yeah, because you have RBS, RBS, RBS.
This is the strongest zone for buys because RBS, we have a pure support here. Support, by the way, a traditional SNR is the strongest form of
Okay.
support and resistance.
Yeah,
buy
so
zone,
it's
sell
stronger
zone.
than RBS and support break zone versus
So
SBR.
that is the traditional zone. So this
Okay.
is the strongest H4 zone.
Yeah.
Paired with a daily OSLC.
Yeah.
Paired with a weekly
Weekly support.
traditional
Yeah,
support.
traditional support.
So now we understand we have a weekly, daily H4 buy zone. So what happens to this zone?
Touched.
Touched it,
Boom.
instantly it flew. You can take a touch trade here, you can wait for confirmation, but this is the way you find the strongest zone in existence.
Yeah.
Because once you touch this zone, storyline started from here, boom, 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 all the way
Oh
2,000
my
pips
God,
because
bro.
of that one single multi-time frame, higher time frame zone.
Wow.
Because of that. But not just that, we have the period confirmations also. But just like that, you can find these kind of zones, you can pair it with multi-time frame, you have the best zones.
Crazy.
Best
Oh my
zones.
gosh.
I have a screenshot
But
of
yeah, like you just wait it out because it took a while to get there though. Wow. Yeah.
where is that? 32. No, 32. So I took a trade here. I already TP'd this trade. I also took a trade here because there was confirmation here. Later I'll explain it. I took a trade at 32 here because of you can see zoom in. H4 buy zone, also a daily zone. Where did I buy? Over here. 32. Same place.
Oh my gosh.
So 32 here. Flew all the way up. Confirmation here again. Broke out. Buy again. Buy again. And simple as that.
Oh my goodness, bro. Poetry.
So
Just poetry.
this is how you trade. Don't TP 30 pip. Most Sifu, they enter here, they TP here. Bro, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Why not TP up here? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my god.
So now we understand multi-time frame zones. Any questions?
No.
No
It's
questions.
like how do you mentally like from this whole part, right? Because obviously technically if you just like followed this, you're missing out a lot on that, right? In this whole like rocket and then waterfall down.
Yeah.
How do you like balance that? Because obviously I know you're not just gonna take the trades there. You're still gonna like trade these things, right?
Well, we can trade those things, but I'm looking at the best possible zone.
Yeah. True. Did you trade any of these? Or no?
Obviously I did, but
Yeah.
this entire place I didn't trade. There was no zones here. I didn't trade this
Yeah.
place.
Exactly.
But I only trade at the place where there were zones. For example, here there's a zone. Maybe I'll trade here.
Yeah.
But if there's a weekly time frame zone, obviously I'll take the weekly time frame zone.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of people they look at the lower time frames.
Yeah.
On the lower time frames, there's multiple zones, right? Okay. Let's go to the H1, right? The problem with most people is they like to look at lower time frame. If you look at lower time frame, look at the shit. Resistance
much,
here,
yeah.
resistance here, support here. It's everywhere, and you can be fucking confused.
Yeah.
Because there's too many noise.
Yeah.
You're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna buy here, boom, SL. Okay, I'm gonna sell here, boom, SL. Too many shit.
Yeah. Too much shit.
Exactly. That is why you look at higher time frame. It is cleaner. The zones are fucking strong. A trade you take on higher time frame, you pair it with lower time frame, it's gonna find thousands of pips. That is how you trade. Not fucking M30 zone, touch the zone, 30 pip, ooh, profit out 30
And then, what do you think is like the best ways from like what chapter should we move on to next? Is it like, obviously you've taught me kind of like where to enter. Do you think confirmation is better, or next is like where to place stop losses or like mental stop losses?
That would be plan for TP, plan for entry, plan for TP,
Yeah.
plan for SL.
Yeah.
That is after you understand the basics first.
Yes. Can. Let's do it.
So after this, I'll be teaching you the 3 confirmations.
Yeah.
I think after the 3 confirmations, you're gonna understand the plan for entry, plan for TP, SL.
Yes, sir. Multi-time frame.
So now we understand multi-time frame.
Yeah.
Do you want more examples?
No. Perfect.
Simple understanding, Okay. I have a lot more to teach about multi-time frames, but I think we can just save that for the plan for entry later.
Yeah.
But you understand?
Yes.
Alright, sure.
Very good understanding.
It's okay. When you apply it, you're not gonna understand it also. When you try to apply it in the real life market, you're not gonna understand it.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
way. This is just all theoretical.
But it's okay.
Theoretical with a perfect example.
You're with me in Shanghai, you can just trade with me.
Yeah. Santai.
Santai lu.
Let's eat a little bit first. Okay.
Let's eat first. Santai lu.
Santai. I'm trading, bro. Love trading.
Oh, go away.